So I'm just coming from driving school. Pure kombucha brewed by me. So this place is usually so green, but it's Nakuru, so it's not like green all year long like Kakamega. So this is something we have to expect. Either way, nature is beautiful, whether green or not. Everyone has their seasons, right? So initially I was supposed to come here and journal, but I actually feel like I have nothing to say. I have everything to be grateful for, that's one thing. But I just don't have anything to say. I'm still, as the new year started, and I've actually never been that confused in my life. But anyway, journaling can also just be about how grateful you are. You don't have to be there trying to plan, trying to pressure yourself on what you've done, or on what you've not done, or on what you're supposed to do. That's how I feel about it. And there are people making this place, so if you hear any background noises, sorry about that. Yeah. So when someone asked me to explain about testosterone, or maybe just talk about testosterone generally, I went and did some research because I thought what I knew was shallow, right? But when I did that, I realized the whole hormonal imbalance thing is almost the same, whether in a man or a woman. So there was actually this research that was done in Japan. It was to see the effect of testosterone levels in relation to prostate cancer. Testosterone levels don't really matter that much. What matters is the estradiol. Estradiol is the most potent type of estrogen. So the estradiol levels to the testosterone is what matters. So quit even thinking about your testosterone levels. Think about how much estradiol in a day you're putting into your body. Like, for example, when someone is told to reduce the amount of beer they're taking, it's not because someone hates you. I know it's so much fun to be out drinking with the guys, but the beer has something called hops. Hops is a plant that is used to enhance bitterness and the taste in beer, but it's a plant and it has phytoestrogens. So when it is made as an ingredient in beer, it makes beer something that raises your estrogen levels. So one of the main ingredients, which is hops, the others are yeast, sugar, water. Those are they don't even matter so much, because at the end of it, zinakuanga kama sugar inakuanga imeshareduciwa through fermentation. But hops, the estrogen is there. That means you're directly taking estrogen into your body. That's why even when someone says that when you take alcohol and meat, it's sijui inakupea pot belly, Mostly it's usually just the beer that is giving you the pot belly. So quit thinking about your testosterone levels and start thinking about how much estradiol in a day you're taking in. That is the main problem. Another thing is like insulin levels. Check your insulin levels. The insulin levels is simply just the amount of sugar you're taking in a day. Because when your insulin levels are high, it stimulates the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. So you see, you're still raising your estrogen levels. So that's another thing you should maybe check on. There's literally no reason why there is a man who's not going to the gym or working out in a way, because for the women I usually advise get something fun to do and do it in a way that it helps you maintain a healthy weight. But for a man, no, I'm not gonna be telling you that. Go to the gym, lift some weights, do something. For the women, just look for something fun to do, because literally I will always advise women to try to be as stress-free as possible. And sometimes, actually from experience, the gym environment can be not a stress-free environment for some people. So if you feel like that is you really don't have to be in the gym just because everyone else is there. There's a plate I made yesterday. I just posted it today. It was millet flour, it was avocado, eggs, and some greens. Ilikuwa mboga kienyeji inaitwa saga, or whatever you call it in your tribe. But either way, that plate will rarely imbalance your hormones because it does not spike your blood sugar, it does not encourage storage of fats. And still related to the alcohol, there's literally no reason why you are having a hormonal imbalance and you're still taking alcohol. Like, chill out. Because when you take a lot of alcohol on the side, or even leave aside beer, just the whole alcohol shenanigan, taking a lot of alcohol makes you have a lot of alkaloids. But what it does, it inhibits your FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, which is supposed to be supporting the production and the maturation of your sperms. So that's why some people are even infertile. Someone is actually infertile and they are still taking alcohol. So if you have any issue with hormonal imbalance, whether you're a man or a woman, just make sure the amount of estrogen that you're taking in a day is very low, and that's mostly related to food. Are you taking a lot of sugar? Are you taking a lot of too much fruits thinking that you're taking actually healthy food? No. So as I always say, make sure you're trying to balance your plate. But balance doesn't mean that you're taking a balanced diet, the one that you've always been told. Make sure that you're balancing. If you have hormonal imbalance, make sure you're not taking. You can even give up sugar and carbs for a bit until you feel better. That is what is called balance. If you're taking alcohol when you have hormonal imbalance, that is not balance. Kuna mtu mwenye ako healthy, very healthy, right? Maybe the whole of last year hajakunywa alcohol, amekuwa akikula healthy. Sasa kukuja maybe aniambie I'm going for a function and I think today I'll have some alcohol. That makes sense because that's actually literal balance. So just try to balance out. You'll really feel so much healthier and so much better. Some of these things will not even find you. So I realized I'll never actually tell someone to quit something completely, whether it's telling someone to quit alcohol completely. Well, I know you probably won't, but the point is that not everyone wants to live to 100 years. Even if you eat so much good, there is a lot going on in the world, and anything can happen anytime, and you still have a lot of time to have a little fun. That's what I call the balance of life. Just balance it. You don't have to quit it completely, but just make sure it's balancing, because on the case of something like sugar, I was reading that the body can handle some amount of sugar, right? So that means you don't actually have to quit sugar completely, but the body can actually handle some amount. So make sure you figure out which amount is good for you, which amount, like for example kuna watu unaona wakikula kidogo ka holiday kidogo ashanaona. So make sure you know what's good for you, what's not good for you, because not everyone is the same. Not everyone has your body. I can't come advise you like I'm advising somebody else. Metabolisms are different. You are all raised differently. We all have different beliefs. For example, vile nasema, not everyone wants to live to 100 years. Kuna watu hawataki kufika 70, but they just want to live a good life. So for someone like that, just balance it out. And actually, the more I interact with people, the more I realize that not everyone wants to be the deep, holistic, healthy. Not everyone wants to live to 100 years. So when I meet people differently, I try to understand them differently so that I give them the kind of advice they need. Because not everyone wants to hear that quit alcohol completely for the rest of your life. Yeah. There's someone actually who asked me on events, what do I eat on events when I find the buffet of food? When I go to events, I actually choose the food that may affect the least. It's like I have a taboo list. You should actually also have a taboo list. Have a taboo list. On that list, have things that you'll never actually taste again. For me, I try to stay from gluten as much as possible. I don't even admire it anymore. I don't even feel like taking it, even if it's brought here right now. I don't have any cravings for chapo, no. So on my taboo list, that's one of the things, and that is gluten, and that is the wheat products. So as much as I might find myself eating gluten at some point of my life, because some things have gluten, what I'm sure of is I'm not going to be directly cooking wheat flour and eating it. So that's one of the things that is in my taboo list. And when I go to events, I try to choose things that are not related to things that are in my taboo list. Things like rice, naweza pata nimekula rice, naweza pata nimekula maugali, nimekula yani the simple carbs that I try to avoid, naweza pata nimekula hizo. But when it comes to the taboo list, it's cancelled. I cannot take that. So when you go to an event, just you try to eat whatever won't affect you so much, and what is not on your taboo list. And also sometimes when you go to an event, you'll find gluten-free things that have not been cooked in vegetable oil, have not been cooked with a lot of sugars. And that works out perfectly, because maybe to come in nikienda hoteli and I ask for my green tea or hibiscus tea and then the groundnuts, akukosangi. So you'll always find something gluten-free. So make sure you try that little bit before you give up. Tortoise is here. Oh, even a baby. This one is awake. So the reason why I'm actually advocating for that plate I made, like uende tu angalia plate nilimake, it almost has everything that will help you balance your hormones if you actually eat like that every day. High protein, the eggs are high protein. They have all the A, D, E, K vitamins. Vitamin D and testosterone are one thing. You actually have to take vitamin D as a person who wants to balance your testosterone levels. And another thing is cholesterol. Cholesterol is actually the base of hormone production. So if you are not taking enough cholesterol, that means you're not having enough cholesterol in your body to actually produce these hormones. Yes, the liver produces like 80% of cholesterol we need in a day, but you actually need to add a little bit more.
I don't know how long I've had these shoes for, but they're so old, but I love them so much. I really don't think I'm giving them up anytime soon. I love them. So unique. So most of the tortoises are asleep, but am I the only one who usually feels bad when I find animals enclosed like these? And especially the fact that tortoises live years and years.
So that basically means there's a tortoise here that has stayed for over 20 years just enclosed inside here. Weird, right? Weird that I have to think about that. The fact that I can see a part of Lake Nakuru from here. Lake Nakuru is calling me by my full government name. I keep seeing it. I just want to go and see how it is, but it's really a dry season. Kama hapa nyasi ziko too dry. So I don't know if it will be that fun to actually go there in this season, because sometimes you can go there and there are literally no flamingos. I think the only things you can find there are monkeys or something, and that's not worth the price of going there. Bro, I'm so pressed. I'm not a bush person. I would have gone into the bush, but I have to wait to reach home. I think nimekunywa uji leo. Yeah, nimekunywa uji mob leo.
You know, the whole place is dry, but there are some flowers I keep seeing that have actually survived the whole dry season.
Like these ones.